In last video, we have discussed about Rahu in the second house and Ketu in the 8th house of the horoscope. In this video, we are going to talk about what happens when you have Ketu in the second house and Rahu in the 8th house. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Vedic Astrology channel. My name is Prasad Mahazani. Rahu in the 8th house and Ketu in the second house. Before we talk about Rahu and Ketu in this axis, what is the second house? Second house is the house which is all about the value of self-worth. More so, it is about the resourcefulness. Second and 8th house axis is a subtle and vital position which can make or break the chart, because it is just next to the first house of yourself and the 7th house of your spouse. Second house and 8th house. What is the second house? Second house is the house of finances, resources, tangible things, things which we value, and your worth, your speech, food, family, close friends in the childhood. All these can be seen with the second house. And what is the 8th house? 8th house is second to the 7th. So it is the resourcefulness from the 7th house. It is the joint assets with the 7th house. 8th house is also the house of death, longevity, and ups and downs. 8th is the house of change. 8th is the house of transformation. 8th is the house of going beyond this realm, having that experience, having that close encounter with the spiritual experiences which can change your life. So change is the theme for the 8th house. 8th house is also the house of inheritance, other people's resources, and more so, it is also the house of the occult, mysticism, and things buried under the ground, like astrology, psychology. All these can be seen with the 8th house. 8th house is one of the Moksha Trikona houses, which is more about the emotional health of a person. And second house is Artha Trikona house. Artha Trikona houses are 2, 6, 2, 6, and 10 are the Artha Trikona houses, which are more about the money and tangible things. Now we have to balance between the tangible things of the second house with the abstract, mystical, hidden, occult things of the 8th house. We discussed about Rahu in the 2nd and Ketu in the 8th in the last video. If you have not watched that video, go and watch that video. You will have a better understanding of Rahu and Ketu in this axis. Today we are going to discuss about Ketu in the 2nd and Rahu in the 8th. What happens when the Ketu comes into the second house? Second house is the house of your self-worth. Second house is the house how valuable you are. And when you look at the person with the Ketu in the second house, you will like this person because he is so resourceful. You will like his resourcefulness because he is always taking care of the Artha. He is always taking care of the things which he needs to survive. When a person have a Ketu in the second house of the horoscope, this person is the best person to take care of the people who depend on them. So he is always taking care of his people. So these people are the nice people. Okay. And that is the characteristic with the Ketu. Wherever we have Ketu placed in, we feel comfortable with. We are attached to those things. We are comfortable with those things because those are the things which we have achieved and we have conquered and we cling to. So a person with the Ketu in the second house, people will regard this person as one of the resourceful person who is great with resources. Like he has all the money to take care of his life. He has enough money to pay the bills. He has enough money to pay the school fees of his children and hospitals and everything. You won't see a single flaw when it comes to taking care of the resources. He is best at taking resources. But Ketu, wherever placed in, will fail us and will make us go towards the Rahu house. Why Ketu will fail us? Ketu always wants an absolutes. Ketu is a perfectionist and perfection does not exist. Ketu fails us in three ways. Ketu will give you an ability with the house it is placed in. In our example, it is placed into the second house. So it will make the person resourceful. He will take care of his resources and tangible things and things required for his survival. But Ketu always want absolutes and perfection, which does not exist with the placement of the Ketu. So in our example, this person, the Ketu with the second house, will always want everything resourceful. He cannot digest that there can be a time when he does not have resources to fulfill his needs. That scares him. When we cling to that, we fail. Because in this lifetime, we have to go to the Rahu house. And what is the Rahu house? Rahu house is the 8th house. 8th house has all the signification, but the most important signification with respect to the second house is other people's resources. Second house is my resources. 8th house is other people's resources. It is not always possible to have a resource to fulfill your needs. Sometimes we need somebody. Sometimes we need somebody who can help us. You just ask for help and you can get it. But this is difficult. The most difficult part for a person with the Ketu in the second house is to ask for help. It is not possible for him. Ketu in the second house person have issue with the self-worth and the trust. If somebody asks Ketu in the second house person, will he be able to help them? They will do it for themselves. Like if a person goes to a Ketu in the second house person and asks for help, how to do XYZ, he will first try to do it for himself. But if you find him dumb, he will simply do it. Okay, I did it for you. Okay, go on. But next time when the person comes in, he has to work all over again because he is not making the other person capable. The challenge with the Ketu in the second house people is they have to make other person resourceful. It is not always me who will be resourceful. It is about others who are resourceful and can help you. So Rahu in the 8th house. What is 8th house? 8th house is other people's money, inheritance, huge money like from insurance, lottery, and all sort of money. Basically, it is the other people's money. 7th house is other people, and second to the 7th is the dhanasthan of the other people. So it is the other people's tangible resources. And now this game is of other people's money and your money, your resourcefulness and other people's resourcefulness, and how you deal with this. And in this lifetime, this person has to go towards the other people's resources. In this lifetime, this person has to make other people resourceful, not to take hold of them and get it done for them. He has to help them to become resourceful. And then those people will help him to become resourceful. one day or the other. If he decides to take a hold and do everything on his own, he will fail. He is going to fail because of this. He is not going, because in life we need somebody. We need other people. We cannot live on our own. No matter how wealthy you are, you need a partner. You need somebody else's resources. You need something tangible of the other people. And that will take you to the next level. You don't always have to, and that's what we do in networking. What is networking? Networking is like helping other people with our resources. That's networking. I have certain kind of resources. How I can help somebody with these resources? These resources can be money, can be anything which is useful for somebody. Next, when Ketu is into the second house is the house of money. So the person has unusual way of handling money. Other people may not understand what he is doing, but this is Ketu. He has mastered that art of the second house. But he has to be careful with respect to money because this is unusual. And when it comes to speech, these people have to be careful with the words they use. Why? Ketu is a headless body. And second house is the house of speech. So the word he speaks can hurt somebody. He has to avoid being sarcastic beyond certain limits. He has to be careful with respect to the speech. Okay. Second house is the house of food. And when Ketu is into the second house, this person can be a moderate eater. And maybe he is eating less. What is second house? Second house is the house of family. And what is Ketu? Ketu is a kind of a separator. He separates you. So when Ketu is into the second house, a person might be living distant from their family. Maybe for the good reasons, but during that period when Ketu Dasha, Antardasha or some influence of Ketu on the second house, this person will live away from the family. Maybe a person going to abroad for studies. It's for their good, but they are living away from the family. And Ketu, the most important thing is this Ketu in the second house makes them the great traveler. I have seen people with this placement are always traveling. Even if they are in the city, they are traveling from one place to the another. Maybe for their work purpose, but they are all constantly traveling. There are a few people who have their jobs like they have to travel 50 kilometers a day, maybe 80 kilometers a day on a bike. So these kind of people, and when they go to the next level, they have an international trip. They have to travel abroad, but there is this element of travel. The separation from the family is the key to their travel, and they travel extensively. I have seen people with this placement traveling a lot. So if you have this placement, I think you should start a travel vlog. Yes. Now let us talk about Rahu in the 8th house. 8th house is one of the deep houses, close houses, along with the 4th and 12th house. 4th house is your emotional environment, 12th house is the abstract, and 8th house is the mystical and occult things which are buried underground, which are not superficial. And now the Rahu goes in there. When Rahu goes in there, a person with the Rahu in the 8th house has to deal with all the 8th house things in his life, like occult, mysticism. These people, the Rahu in the 8th house people, will hardly follow any established religions or philosophies, they have their own understanding of the occult, and that is unusual and maybe futuristic, which we may not understand. When you have Rahu in the 8th house, you have to be careful with your verbal communication, because sometimes you might say something which, the other people may not like it. You have to be careful with that, because Rahu in 2nd and 8th house tend to do that. Remember, we talked about Rahu in the 2nd house. You should not yell at somebody. You should not get into the roadside yelling, or getting into the quarrels, or say bad things about anybody that might bring embarrassment to you. Same is the case with 8th house Rahu. You should be careful with what you speak. When Rahu is into the 8th house and Ketu into the 2nd house, the person has to be even more positive, because Ketu might make you pessimistic and minimal. You will be satisfied with less because you have Ketu into the 2nd house of resources. So you have to be careful on that ground as well. How to harmonize the 2nd house Ketu and the 8th house Rahu? The first thing, the challenge with this placement into this axis is 2nd house and 8th house are the fixed houses. Remember, first 4, 7, 10 are cardinal houses or cardinal rashis, and 2, 5, 8, 11 are the fixed rashis. Like whatever change the 1, 4, 7, 10 has initiated, 2, 5, 8, 10, 2, 5, 8, 11 will establish that, will hold that, will keep that, and will work upon that change to consolidate. And Rahu and Ketu are the agent of the changes. Rahu and Ketu bring in the transformation, and when they're involved into the 8th house, the transformation is huge. And that is the challenge with this axis. There is the challenge. These people have to harmonize the tangible 2nd house with the abstract 8th house, and more so, these people have to accept the change. The only thing they have to understand is change is good. If they feel that, if they are open to the change, they will grow, because these are fixed houses and these are stuck energies. So you will feel stuck if you have this placement of Rahu and Ketu. No matter if you are into 5 years of your career, 10 years of your career, others might feel that you are the most successful, but you yourself will feel that you're stuck somewhere. This is because of the fixed house energies. So you have to be ready. You have to be ready and looking for the change in your life. You have to constantly change yourself. You have to constantly look for the change, and always remember, change is good. Always remember, treat every change as a blessing. And this is the mantra for this placement. And if you can do that, then this Rahu and Ketu placement will make you into one of the best travelers and the most resourceful person ever. If you have any question, add me on Instagram at Pramanik Astrology. Or if you have any question, you can add your questions onto the comment section of my YouTube videos. I read all the comments and I try to reply to almost all the comments. Okay. So yes, this was Rahu in the 8th and Ketu in the 2nd house, as much as I could hold, grasp and share with you guys. If you are new to my channel, what to watch next, go to my playlist and watch how to get started into Vedic astrology, or go and watch Rising Sign series, or just go to the playlist and start exploring the fascinating world of Vedic astrology. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.